Joel, thanks for being here with us and being a partner with Phin since 2022. So longer than I've been with Phin. I think I joined January 23. So you have more tenure than I do. Right now, it's exciting because you have 59 clients in Phin, and it's exciting just to hear kind of your thoughts about Phin, what you think we could improve on, all of that. So, in the beginning, what initially drove you to evaluate a new security awareness training provider?
We were coming from know before. Um, and whereas we liked that we could write some of our own SAT, like especially the Sims and so on, it wasn't very flexible as far as the either the training or the actual Sims.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Microsoft had just broken a lot of the SAT automation in the background, and they had no answer for it. And then the other thing is we were having issues with it does not like, or at least at the time, it did not like a lot of the um, multiple groups in the way we wanted to handle the different groups in different ways. Phin gave us that flexibility. And then since then, you guys keep adding and adding and adding, and they really don't. And even the ones that they do add, they charge for, and they don't work as well. So frankly, we've got two clients that are still on them. One because of government compliance, because they'll work with GCC high stuff, which I understand is coming down the pipe with you guys too, in which case I'll get them to move. And the other one just because they're very much, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
Mm-hmm.
until their contract's up, and then after that point, they'll switch. And yeah, we love Phin. We're getting everybody on Phin.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. When you were looking, you're with Know before, kind of having those struggles. Was Phin the only provider you were evaluating, or was it up against, several?
I was brought on board because I excessively test things before I release them. I have a programming background, so I am more in the habit of testing everything thoroughly. I have sandbox tenants, environments, VMs. I will make sure nothing is going to annoy my end users, but still get the results we want before deploying. And again, Phin checked all the boxes that the other ones that we tested weren't. But yeah, no, we tested several before deciding on Phin.
Very good. How many admins do you have? Do you have a team that manages Phin, or
So
mainly you?
technically, our entire team are in there as admins,
Hmm.
so they can make changes as need be. That having been said, it's kind of become my baby. Typically, if any changes need to be made, uh, it, that ticket comes to me. Now, some of the repetitive tasks I put on our dispatcher. So, like when we had to reauth everybody's integrations, I had him go through in between dispatching calls. But for the most part, I kind of manage it all. And especially with the stuff you guys have put in place, automating a lot of that, it makes it a lot easier for one person kind of manage the whole thing. And then I just document it thoroughly in case Mr. Boatler, who's our other tools specialist, needs to handle something in my absence.
Gotcha. Um, so it's kind of nice that you're the one doing it. How much time do you think you spend a month managing Phin?
Very little. The only time we really manage anything anymore is when we're onboarding new clients, offboarding a client. Um, when Microsoft breaks an API and you guys are like, okay, well, we just need to reauth for the new one because now we're on Graph. Um, for the most part, yeah, like obviously there's more time spent in triaging, but as far as like the actually managing the tenants, you guys make it pretty easy to not have to go in there often anymore, which again, another advantage over some of the alternatives. I have to go in weekly and make tweaks for those two other clients that are being stubborn.
So if you compare your time with Know before per month and time with Phin, could you quantify the amount of time that you're saving with Phin over the previous provider?
Yeah, even handing off like the repetitive tasks, like Microsoft broke that API and we got a reauth. that takes maybe an hour of just signing in 60 times. Um, and now I'm good for the month, as opposed to before, where I have to go in and um, make sure that their user provisioning didn't break again this week, because that happens a lot, because the way they use the SCIM, the app control, the provisioning breaks. I don't have to go in and mess with the user's managers or anything like that. Your reporting tab works a lot better. So I think with KnowBe4, it's a couple hours a week, or sorry, a couple hours a month. I will look at just the management side, for only 2 clients. Whereas unless Microsoft breaks something globally, I'm spending maybe 5 minutes in FinSec to do the same thing in a month. And usually that's just if we change the name of a group somewhere and I just got to change the provisioning. That's it. It's the reason I love working with you guys.
That's awesome to hear. What benefits have your end users reported from using Phin? Any like concrete examples of like changed behavior or anything like that?
The lessons have been more effective. We've seen a dramatic downtick in the number of failed SIMs over time, partially because you guys actually report on people taking the remediation training and so on. Um, so we can pass that on to supervisors and so on. So the actual recidivism rate of people continuing to show up on that fail list is much lower over time with you guys. We've the biggest plus for us that comes up quarterly in our internal meetings is the number of incidences that derive from email clicks, whether it be an attachment or a redirect, or even social engineering, has gone down dramatically. If you want actual numbers, I could dig that up for you. Um, but we have a incident response team, um, and a whole SOP we go through, and the calls for those are. I think we had one all of last quarter. I would need to double check, see if something happened after hours I wasn't aware of with our on-call engineers. But yeah, I mean, we've done you guys have done a very great job with the human firewall component of everything.
I love human firewall. That's awesome. How do you measure the success of the implementation of Phin with your tenants?
So my metrics are probably going to be a little bit different than the rest of my teams. Um, I mostly deal with cloud policy and tools for my engineers. So a lot of times my metrics are based on how much time is it saving us in dealing with this. Uh, part, Once we got past the hurdle of adoption, getting people to use the button as opposed to, we had different things in place over time, from the old know before button to, we also have some automation set up. If somebody emails one of our shared mailboxes, it would automatically create a ticket in our system. So once we got more people adopting the button, and two, once Ted has set up that nice little feature where even if somebody did uh, forward it to us, I can pull the attachment and use the triaging pod on the attachment inside of Manage. Um, our response time to a reported fish has dropped down to less than a minute with the tools. So just as far as our profitability per end user, it has gone up just from Phin. I mean, we have a lot of clients that are on unlimited contracts, not time and materials. So we have to really look at tech time uh, per endpoint, and Phin improves that across the board.
That's awesome. So, how long have you been using the new triaging tool with ConnectWise Manage?
We were on the beta program for that, so I don't know exactly off the top of my head when. I actually just asked Tedis that question so I could give him some numbers on what our engineering time was like on reported fishes before the triage versus once I got my team to adopt it. Personally, my average time has gone down from about 5 minutes to 1 minute per, and I'm, how to put it nicely, I'm much more intimately aware with how everything works. So the engineers, I think the time has been an even bigger drop, because a lot of the things that I knew how to do, or I had written myself PowerShell scripts to do, they were doing by hand. So it's probably dropped it from about 15 minutes. I think my average engineer time on those is like 3 minutes now.
Is that 3 minutes on dealing with the reported fish?
Triaging and then figuring out what to do with it, which
Okay.
I like. The engineers seem to like the fact we have another integration called PIA with
Mm-hmm.
our manage, and we have a package that would block a domain or an email. I think our engineering team has appreciated that on that final tab that they can kill emails in the same pod that they did the research on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so they don't even use the PIA as much. So I think, yeah, you've dropped it down like 80% on the engineering time, even just for the L1 guys.
That's awesome. You've talked about the time saving for your team. Are there any other benefits that you see? Either the consolidation, like you said, you stay in that pod to do everything, so it's time savings. Staying within that ConnectWise managed pod. Anything else?
Oh no, that's a huge part, especially for the engineers. I mean, I have one guy who's on the upper end age-wise that still works from one monitor. So, yeah, for someone like that to be able to work it all from manage as much as possible, it's been huge. And from my perspective, a lot of times with some of the triaging stuff, a lot of it would get escalated to me. Like, okay, I don't see a problem here. This very clearly looks suspicious, but I can't put my name on it. Now to have all the DKIM laid out, because I tried to train them how to read that, and having the SPF, the DKIM, DMARC all available there. Now that the thing can plainly put out all the URLs, I get less stuff escalated to me and they can just handle it, so I can focus on other things. We're a small company, so in addition to being, the L3, I also handle tools. I write all the like right now, because we have that partner um, requirement change from Microsoft coming up in October. I'm spending all my day in secure score action plans. So they can do it all. Like the L1 engineers have everything at their disposal. They can do it quicker, they can do it much more easily, and you've reduced the error, the human error rate down, which is the big thing for me. That is my big thing, is automating as much as possible, and taking human error out of it, not just on the end user side, but also on the engineer side.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing you say is it really has empowered your tier ones to handle things more on their own, and they can actually learn from it.
Yes, and that was, I told Tedis that before. My big thing right now is there's a culture issue at any MSP, and that's that any given issue type has a guy, or a gal, and that's anything email. If somebody couldn't figure it out right away, it would just come to me. So I actually get to see the direct effect that FinTech has had internally on these kind of things. And yeah, I rarely deal with email issues anymore. If I do, it's usually DNS related. It has nothing to do with reported emails or anything like that. My L1s can handle stuff that used to always have to come to me.
That's awesome. That's huge. Can you think of any challenges you've had using the triaging tool?
Yeah, but I don't necessarily think they're germane. Once again, it was culture. We have most of our guys still using what we call the FAT client for ConnectWise Manage, the installed client, whereas the triage tool only works on the web version. Once I got adoption, users working the web client, for two guys, I had to actually turn off their access to the installed client.
That's one way to
um, some
encourage
people just don't like
behavior.
change, but once I got them on it, they have the response has been universally positive.
Well, you've given us some great information. Are there any kind of parting thoughts or anything you'd want to tell an MSP who's looking for a SAT provider about Phin?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, there's always a goal for unification. And at one point, we were trying to look at a pure Microsoft environment. And for a lot of things, we have cut a lot of vendors out to save some money. However, you look at the time it takes to develop an SAT plan, all the sims, all the training sessions, but then not just that side of it. Defender can do that. It would take so much more work, which Phin reduces to nothing for an onboarded client. But the actual in operation part of it, getting users to actually, everybody has SAT that says if you see something suspicious, report it. Getting people to actually do that is the hardest part of our job, and Phin makes that easy.
Joel, it was so great to talk to you and to actually meet you in person. I guess if this is in person, but
Close enough.
putting a face to a name is always great. And thank you for being a partner with Phin. And I will get your stats to you so that you can report back to your team on
Hey, I
the.
appreciate it.
All right. Have a great day.
Yep, you too.